Long days, pleasant nights, and welcome to Kingslingers, a Doof Media podcast journeying through Stephen King's Dark Tower series and beyond. I am your host, Scott Daly, and joining me is my co-host, snapping pictures of friendly cemetery ghosts. It's Kim C. How's it going today, Kim?
Hi, everybody. I'm the Shutterbug today.
Those ghosts are just so nice. I mean, they'll like fly up to you and go ooga booga and then just leave you alone and not do anything at all. So, you know, it's like a nice kind of ghost to have in a cemetery.
I just hope one of them turns into Devon Sawa from Casper, who taught Kim C she likes boys.
My wife as well. I think that was all women of a certain age know the name Devon Sawa. I think my most hilarious thing with Devon Sawa is like he made a comment on a tweet. He used to be very active on Twitter and very like confrontational. And he made a comment and someone responded, "Who are you?" And he just responded, "Ask your girlfriend."
It's so true.
All right, today we are here to talk about episode 3 of It: Welcome to Derry. This episode is titled Now You See It, and we did not. There's no Pennywise in this episode. Well, okay, there is. There's a picture, a penny picture, and some eyes, and then obviously all the other mutant monsters we see. But
Scott, I saw a guy in a sombrero. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's him. He felt like being festive. He just got to change things up a little bit. Yeah. This episode, Kim, was written by, I believe, Guadalupe Del Carmen and Gabriel Hobson. It was directed not by Andy Muschietti, but this is our first episode of the series, directed by a man named Andrew Bernstein, who I looked him up on IMDb, and he's one of those journeyman television directors. You know, there are a lot of directors out there that just like do TV, and they just like will come on to do one episode or a couple episodes of a bunch of different shows, and that's this guy. He has done, if you can think of a TV show in the last few years, he's done an episode of it. He just seems very, very busy in the world of journeyman television production. Like, for example, he's done The Nevers, Diplomat, Ozark, Foundation, The Outsider, Umbrella Academy, Castle Rock, Fear the Walking Dead. He's been all over the place, this guy.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so he's here to do this episode. I believe this is the only episode of the series he is going to direct, but he's here, and we have a little bit of a different look from this episode than we did for our two Muschietti episodes, but also a little bit of a similar look, I'd say. What did you think about episode 3 of Welcome to Derry?
I really enjoyed it. I had a good time. I think it is bookended by some interesting, cool things that entertained me. Some that made me scratch my head. But at this point, I don't know if I'm speaking too early, but episode 3, I sat myself down and I was like, okay, we are going to have to fundamentally make peace with our grievances here. And we just need to have a good time with all the additional episodes because, I think deep down in my heart, Mr. Daly, I don't really like that the Muschiettis have this story. I just feel like there's something fundamentally, it's like if you're dating someone and it's going well and you're like listing off all the great things. You're so handsome, you're talented, you're smart, you're funny, but I fundamentally don't want to be with you. And that's how I feel it's going. But I thought this was such a lovely episode with great character work.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. This is my favorite episode of the 3 so far. There are, of course, bits and pieces of it I didn't care for. But I think I'm with you that I've just, like, at some point you either need to get with the vibe of the show or like bounce off of it. And like, obviously we're not going to bounce off of it. We're committed to going through. And so I'm not just going to subject myself to complaining about the stuff that I don't like for the next 7 weeks. So I mean, you just kind of accept the things that you don't love, and you look for the stuff that you do. And I think this is the episode that I really felt, okay, I've settled into the show a little bit. I'm understanding what it's doing, and I've come to terms with the parts of it I don't like, and that allows, I think, the parts that I really did like to really rise to the surface. And I agree with you. Like the character stuff, like the plot stuff is still not my favorite, but all the character work in this episode, we spend a lot of time with Dick Halloran, and he's fantastic. The Chris Chalk, his actor, is like, I think the best performance in the show, like by far. Which is not to take anything away from any of the other performers who I think are doing great jobs, but man, he really came into this character, especially in this episode. And then, yeah, the kids stuff, while clearly being exactly what we thought it was going to be, which is just kind of a retread of the Losers Club, is working on me in spite of that. And I think it's just because I find the kids so charming, and so I don't care. And like their plot stuff is not coming off as silly, or it is, but it's because they're children. And it's like their main plot in this episode is, let's get a picture of it, and then everyone will have to believe us because we have a picture of a ghost. And like in your head as an adult, you're like, no, that's dumb. That's not going to work. But they're kids, right? It's a completely logical kid thing to make, is like, no one's going to believe us if we come forward. The only way they'll believe us is if we can prove it, and having a picture will prove it. And it's like, nah, not in this town. But yeah.
I too am very warm to all the kids. I really am giving them all the grace now. I'm like, okay, I like you. I don't care.
I really like how the show opens today too. This flashback we have to 1908, I believe it is, was really effective for me. I think, first of all, I mean, we get to see the Rose and General Shaw. We don't realize at the time they're Rose and General Shaw, but the show pretty quickly demonstrates that to us. And one of the things that I do like that the show is doing, you know, we've talked a lot about the parts of the scares and monster stuff we don't like, but I like the sound work it does to build tension. One of the things, like we talked last week about the patty cake moment, where the patty cakes are like doing their weird chant thing while there's this incredibly tense conversation happening between Lily and Ronnie. And like they played that again in the previously on. And I was like, oh yeah, this was uncomfortable. And we cut right from that previously on to this, where like all the sounds of the carnival around him, around young Shaw as he's trying to figure everything out, like just makes you uncomfortable. You're not even sure why yet, because nothing like scary has happened yet. It's just like we have the pinging sounds and throwing sounds and carnival sounds, and the jalopy hasn't even started playing yet. But like, man, it was just like, I'm creeped out. And it was so effective. What did you think of that opening scene?
I also loved it. And I remember when Yumi and Dr. Freeman chatted about the trailer a couple months back, and I was like, we better get a huge flashback. Huge.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the circus. And we did. We're at this rural carnival, and it's a little bit tattered. I love the costumes. We have 19th century dress, which is great, or early 20th century dress. Yeah. I just love it. It's so immersive. I'm nervous because it's carny. It's like there's grit, there's edge to it.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a pack of unsavory characters, even though it is broad daylight. Yeah. Very effective, gorgeously designed, winning.
Yeah. And even like the sound work, even when he goes into the circus freak's tent, and like when he goes into the skeleton man part, like the bones of the skeleton man, like the creaking and stretching and move, like that's just incredibly creepy stuff. And I really liked all that. I was so on board with that whole scene until the obvious part that we're gonna, I'm sure, talk about, which is when the skeleton man is no longer the skeleton man, as instead it, and turns into a CGI dog man.
Yeah, when they hit the too much button.
Yeah.
When everything's working and then they decide to go too far.
But again, like we've made this complaint 3 times in 3 episodes now. Like it's not like Andy Muschietti and team are going to be like, oh, Scott and Kim don't like this. Hold on, let me retroactively go back and change how we do the scare sequences. This is how they do their sequences, right? So this is just how we're just gonna have to learn to deal with this, and that's fine. Although I do have a problem with the cemetery sequence for like an entirely different reason than just CG stuff, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. So we have this, first of all, if your radiator is going to overheat and you're going to break down on the side of a road in the middle of nowhere, being 10 feet from someone selling water is like the most optimal place for it to happen.
What a quinkadink.
I love how he's like, his dad's like, go buy some water. And I thought he was like telling him to go like march. And he just walks up to the native people who are just selling glasses of water. Great. It was convenient. I loved it. Don't waste any time.
Let me walk 4 feet, Dad. Just a second.
Did you catch the license plate of the car they were driving?
I did not. I should have.
I don't want to assume things, but the license plate number read 67I9. I think the I9 was supposed to be 19, which is, of course, a very important number in the Dark Tower. And the 67 is, of course, a very important number in the worst generation of all time. So I feel like this is a marriage of two different worlds coming together here in this one license plate.
I like this perspective.
I heard my 4-year-old son say 6-7 the other day.
No, Scott, no.
Yeah. He would just like walked into a room. He didn't do it like the annoying way kids do it. I'm making the hand gesture right now. But he just said it, and I was like, I felt like I was Batman, where I was like, where did you hear that?
Valid.
Why did you say that name?
Valid response.
Yeah. I'm guessing some kid with older siblings at his daycare said it, but he hasn't repeated it, so we're good.
Oh, the brain rot. I can't.
So yeah, this whole sequence, I mean, we kind of get to see this past between one of our native characters, Rose, who we actually did meet in last week's episode, the owner of Secondhand Rose, played by a woman named Kimberly Guerrero. Her and her like complicated relationship with General Shaw, which, this government plot, I think is like, we already have said we don't like it, right? But in the interest of just trying to find the things we like about it, I think taking these two characters that have this past together and then putting them on opposite sides of whatever this thing is, I think is a maximally interesting way to do this from a character perspective. I don't know. What do you think?
Very smart. Yes. I think it was a smart move to reduce and distill this clunkiness and make it character focused, because suddenly we are looking at the connection between these two friends, which is precious.
Yeah. Well, and we talked last week about like, how did this all come to be? Like, how did the government figure out about this? Like, there's scenes where like, I think his second in command is saying things like, it's the Bradley gang from 35. It was the 35 cycle. That we haven't found any sign of the beast yet. And like that kind of stuff just feels clunky to me. But like the idea that this general learned of this stuff as a kid, and this is maybe this is the entire reason this operation is happening, is because as a child, he was told the stuff by Rose, and like he had this one experience with the monster, and he was told the stuff by Rose, so he has a greater understanding of it than any non like native person in the area. And so like he's like driving this whole thing, and like that's really interesting too, because it's a guy who's driving this whole thing that forgot all about it until he came back to Derry, and B, doesn't really fully understand it all. That I think we're being clear here. So like we joked last week about how this is stupid, and maybe it being stupid is the point. And I really feel like that even more now, that like they're just in over their heads and they think they have this great organized idea. But like we see with the Bradley gang car, they didn't even know what they were doing with that. It's like, oh, we found this beacon of it. And like, what are we going to do with it? I don't know. We're going to take it apart and look for, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. It smooths out a lot of the wrinkles. It does, which I appreciate, but we still got a lot of wrinkles.
Yeah. No, I mean, definitely true. But I think the attaching it to people, making us care about those people. And on the other side, the other half of making us care about it is the stuff they're doing with Leroy and with Dick, who like now become part of the operation in a way that we hadn't seen up until this point. I loved every bit of Dick Halloran in this show.
Oh my God. Yes, me too. I was just singing with joy. He is so great, Scott. He kicked ass this episode. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I did not like the idea of Dick like being like a for hire psychic for the U.S. military. Although I did appreciate that Hank or Lee's partner, like the other guy, made reference to the doing tests on goats stuff, the men who stare at goats story. Like I appreciated a throwaway reference to other ridiculous stuff the government has done. When we said we didn't like the government testing, we had some comments that said, "What are you talking about? Government did weird stuff like this all the time." I was like, "Yeah, I get it, but it just doesn't feel right for the show." Was my point. But I like that we at least lampshade that kind of stuff. But oh my gosh, like the entire Pennywise vision sequence, Kim, that's great. That's great stuff. That's great stuff from
Yes,
beginning
it
to
is.
end. That's great stuff.
It was a mic drop moment for sure. I loved it as well. And I am so glad you brought up the fact that there's a little bit of, I feel the same with the pain for for Dick Halloran's, his exploitation. He's being used. And I felt the pain of the magical Negro trope that we're seeing, because he's a terrific character in the King universe. He's so huge. So I understand why the show is using him the way that they are. It's a smart move.
Yeah.
But his performance is so compelling that he's being forced to go up in the helicopter and put himself into these trances and go eye to eye with this terrifying entity who now knows who he is, which is so chilling. But yes, Scott, it is great.
That line, he wasn't supposed to see us. That was so good. The thing that I was so confused and like conflicted about with Dick in the early parts of the show is he comes off as like so cocky and confident. And I think he is. Like, he is a guy who, as we meet him here in the show, he is a guy who has this power, is able to read people and understand people, and it has made his life relatively easy on him. I mean, he's still a black man in the mid 20th century America. So like, I don't want to say his life has been easy, certainly not, but it's made his life easier. And he's used to kind of having the upper hand in most of the situations he's in. And the encounter with Pennywise, I think, changes him in an important way, where like for the first time in his life, he's like, oh fuck, there's something stronger than me out there. There's something bigger than me out there. And I don't have a handle on it. I don't have control of it. And I think he's absolutely overwhelmed. Like the whole sequence is set up where you think he's in Pennywise's mind, right? Like we get to the cistern that we saw in it, chapter 2 or chapter 1. We're going through all the stuff and we're convinced like, oh, he's like having a vision of Pennywise. And it's only until Pennywise like goes like, who are you? And we start seeing flashes of things. And the flashes we're seeing are of, I'm guessing they're of Dick Halloran's life, because it shows people in war. I think it showed like a creepy mask or something. I think these are moments in Dick's life. And the realization is, oh, no, like it is in his head right now. And that's, and then he's almost jumping out of a plane or out of a helicopter, right? Like, holy shit, that's just great character stuff. And now I'm like, okay, now I love this guy. I love him now. You made him a confident kind of ass to people around him, and then you stripped him of his confidence, and now you've endeared me to him. Congratulations.
Oh, I like that a lot. Piggybacking off what you said, that moment in the cistern where where we're seeing those flashbacks of World War II, and I'm assuming it was New Orleans, like Mardi Gras.
Yes, that sounded about right.
And then shortly after that, we have the baby dolls falling from the floating place. Mm-hmm. And so I thought to myself, was there just like a surge of shine energy? Like it knocked off the balance of the cistern, because shortly after, Pennywise is like, who are you? Like almost like, what are you? Mm-hmm. And so with the baby dolls falling, I got the impression like there was a powerful energy surge from the shine, and from, like, as you mentioned, Pennywise entering his head, which I thought was, it's all so great. The scene is so strong. But then in addition to what you said about him being really cocky in the first 2 episodes, I think he is very scared now. You are correct. But I also like his charm. I just think that Dick is also just a smooth operator. He's really charming. And we see this in the dinner scene, especially when he's talking to Charlotte.
Yeah.
It's warmth. It's warmth and charm.
Yeah.
And I love that even though he is afraid, he's still going to demonstrate that. And this is just the masterful performance of Mr. Chalk.
Yeah, no, I agree. And part of my read on him, and because I think we see a different version of him in that scene as well. We see a very charming, like willing to play the game. And I think part of that is he's afraid. I think like he sees Leroy Hanlon as an ally. Leroy saved his life. I love that the show doesn't like, we jump with Dick from the moment in the helicopter to the moment with the general that sets up the black spot beautifully, by the way. It's like, let me know if there's anything I can do for you. It's like, well, my guys would like a place to hang out. I was like, oh, okay, that's where we're going with it.
That was perfect.
Yeah. And then we jump from that, and the next time we see Dick, he's coming over for dinner. And so we don't see the moment where like he's invited. We don't see how any of that happens. We understand, I think, both characters' motivation in this, right? I think Leroy's motivation is some shit's going on with this guy, and he wants to get to the bottom of it. And I think for Dick, he sees this person as an ally. Like, I think he kind of comes out right out and says it at the end of the conversation, is like, I know you're not the type I want to fuck with, but I want someone like you in my corner. It's like, he's here to play the game, to make nice with the wife, to do all the stuff, because he wants this guy with him, because he knows this thing's out there and now knows who he is. And the show doesn't have to say any of this, which is what I love about it, that it shows us, it doesn't tell us any of this. And like that, you know, we've critiqued the writing of the show a lot over the course of the last couple of weeks, but I thought this was very, very cleverly done, very motivated by character, and in a way that like you understand why the characters are behaving this way. The show doesn't have to come right out and tell you why they're behaving this way.
It allowed for performance. The script had just enough wiggle room between these dialogues to allow performance to shine through. And that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
That's what we're paying for.
Yeah.
We want to see these actors act. And when they do, oh my God, it's so great. Really quick, my favorite line. I have been thinking about this one line Halloran said. I don't know why. So he's talking to Charlotte, which, by the way, quick side note, found out Charlotte's a teacher. I knew it. I knew it. It makes me love her even more, because when she broke up the fight in last week's episode, I was like, that's She-Bear. I know it. I know that She-Bear. Of course she's an educator. Of course. So again, more praise for great character work. But she says she can't really get a job. She's overqualified for clerical work. And then she says, so I was thinking about the marches and the speeches. And Halloran looks directly at her and he just says, the movement. Just like that, with a little bit of inflection, a little bit of a question mark, and he doesn't elaborate. He doesn't say civil rights movement, and he says it in a way that invites her to say more. Yeah, and I don't know why, but that one line, I'm like, this is a goddamn master. This is a fantastic actor. Oh my God.
That's a great call out. I completely agree with that. What I love about it also is again, Dick is trying to be like kind, and he's trying to win the wife over, and he's trying to do all these things, but at the same time he's playing a game here. He's playing he wants Leroy on his side. He wants Leroy to like him. And so maybe even if he agrees with Charlotte's like work and activism, like he doesn't want to kind of come right out and say it, because he quickly reads the situation that Leroy isn't thrilled with this. I mean, she comes right out and says it, is like, you know, my husband thinks that this would be detrimental to his career. And the charged, like, this is something they've fought about many, many times, is so present. That's like good actors, right? It's good actors and good writing when we don't have to say this is something that the two of them have butted heads about many, 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 many times in the past. You can just feel it in the scene. And I think that's a great example of just really solid writing there. But you can tell Dick like navigates the scene very politically, right? Where he's just like, yeah, well, you know, he could be right. He doesn't like come right out and say like, I agree with you, Leroy. We should not participate in this stuff. We should like, he just says, yeah, I know it's hard for people like us in the military already. This could make it harder for any, like, it's a very political, because he's trying to win these people over. He wants he wants to leave and he wants Charlotte to say, I really like that man. But he also
Yeah.
wants Leroy to say that as well. Or at least to say, this is a guy I want to have in my corner type thing. So just really fantastic writing and maneuvering, and just like in the plot of the show that I didn't care about at all, which was this stuff, like this just won me over completely in this episode. I was so on board with all of it.
Yes. And I just love that we have such strength to brag about in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much strength in these one-on-ones between the characters that the parts that we will throw stones at, it's like, oh, but it gets smaller and smaller because we've got so much good. We have so much strength, which is awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I just want to make the most random, weirdest comment of all that I have to do, because this is just what my brain did. So when we cut to Dick and his friends in the tent playing cards, there is a song here that plays, and the song is, gosh, I texted it to you and then I didn't write it in the script. So let me awkwardly open my phone and look back on our conversation.
The original band's the Mackerels, but it's from the film.
The Marcells. The Marcells. So the song that's playing in the scene is
Kim
the Marcells.
Can't read.
is the Marcells. It's a song called Heartaches, but like the opening of the song is like a guy going boop 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 boom 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 or something like that, and that is in the song "So Humble" in Pop Star Never Stop Never Stopping, like one of my favorite movies ever, like one of the most criminally underseen films of all time. And I guess they just sampled from this 1950s or 60s band song, and I was just like, my ears perked up and I was like, what is it? And like it took me a second to remember where I heard it from, and I had no idea that the Pop Star movie sampled from the song. So it was just a delightful like little thing that happened where like at first it was anachronistic to me. I was like, why are they using this? Why are they using a song from the 21st century here? I was like, oh no, wait, they're just sampling. Okay. I loved it. That's just my random side thing with Dick and his wonderful scenes.
Oh, I support it. I think that's great. I listened really carefully to our intro lyrics, and they've gotten more precious because I realized with Ribbon and a Smile, it's a little girl singing that I need more than my fancy dress to win these people over, so I better get a ribbon. And I'm obsessed with it. So I understand the music compelling you.
Yeah. Speaking of the intro again, there are shows that when I'm watching them, especially when I'm watching them multiple times for podcasts or whatever, I will just start skipping the intro scene because I don't have time. Never done it with the show. Never done it once. I enjoy it so much. So let's talk. I want to talk about Hank a little bit and Chief Bowers with you. So I thought this scene was really interesting. So we have the scene, and again, I think this is a really solid performance scene. I think it's well directed. I liked just about every bit of it, where Bowers approaches Hank in the cell and kind of baits him into revealing some stuff. Like he offers him a Pall Mall cigarette and says, "Oh, I really thought you'd be a Pall Mall man," and he has Hank reveal what kind of cigarettes he actually has, which he either already knows or just suspects because he has a pack of those cigarettes that they found somewhere. So what's going on here is interesting because obviously Hatchet Hank did not murder anyone at the theater. He was not at the theater. He was not at home with his mother, like his mother is saying, right? He was out doing something. And this is a kind of a dangling thread we've left here in this episode of he was out somewhere doing something and does not want to say. Despite the fact that it could get him in trouble. So and that's my interpretation. Tell me if you agree with me or not. I don't know what we would ultimately be doing with that, but I think that's just an intriguing thread we've kind of set up here.
I am glad you mentioned that because I think that fills some potholes for me because I have a question about Hatchet Hank because I don't remember when a hatchet was involved. Did I miss a newspaper headline?
No.
They wrote it on Ronnie's locker with lipstick, which don't ever take that off with rubbing alcohol, ladies or gentlemen. It won't work. It won't work. You need an oil-based cleanser. Anyway.
Important information.
critical information. But I was confused about the hatchet part. And in that scene with Bowers, which I agree was really well executed, I'm like, this guy's being actively framed. And so that was my thought, is like, he's just being framed totally. And I think I might have missed the fact that the cigarette pack that Bowers holds up to indicate, hey, we found this, you weren't at home. I think I might have not cross those T's. I think I might have missed, like, oh, you weren't at home. I don't know if I might be missing something because we haven't seen it. They're telling us he wasn't home. And so because I didn't see it, I might not be on board.
So what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to come up with what this overarching plot line could have to do with anything that's going on in the story, because like outside of the fact that Hank is being framed for a crime that he did not commit, and this is kind of the motivating thing for Ronnie's character and her quest, like outside of that, like what are we doing with the story? And the only thing I've come up with is something we touched on quite a bit in last week's episode, which is the way the show is handling race and racism. So my current theory with Hank, and this, I have literally nothing to support this other than like a gut feeling and a trying to tie this to some overarching theme, is that he's having an affair with a white woman. That's my current theory. And so that's why he was out that night. That's why he doesn't want to tell anyone, because this veneer of we're okay with black people and Derry thing shatters the minute one of them dares, have a relationship with one of us. And I think that might tie into, so one thing, we got a comment on our episode last week from someone kind of posing their own theory about what the show is doing with racism. And I really liked it, because basically what it was saying is the show is working hard to construct Derry as a place of this thin veneer of peace and beauty and perfection over a dark, monstrous underbelly. And like the reason I didn't grab for that initially myself is because in my picture, like the Derry and Stephen King's It, I think is not that. The Derry and Stephen King's It is very like, I don't think there's any veneer over anything. I think it's just this awful place. And the only veneer is the people that are choosing not to look at it. It's not that everything looks nice and pretty. It's just people are just choosing not to look at the ugly. But I think the show and Muschietti's movies are doing a little bit something different with Derry, and I think they are kind of creating this pretty picture, this beautiful postcard that is in the introduction and this song, and like trying to create this version of this place that is peaceful and happy, and we coexist, and like, oh look, we don't care about black people, like we're progressive up here in Maine, like they come to our schools and can be in our military and can go to our bars, and we don't care, but it's all fake. And so these moments of seemingly contradictory of visualizations that are so racially charged but don't have any kind of like abject, like out in front racism to them, I think are setting up a turn. Like if you think about, Charlotte walks into the butcher, is expecting perhaps these people to behave a certain way to her, and they're not. They're nice and friendly, and like they're just welcoming to her and normal. What will then the effect of that be if the butcher is one of the people that is burning the black spot down at the end of the episode, at the end of the series, right? When we get to the final episode, it's Kirsch that's one of the people setting the black spot on fire.
Oh my God.
Like, wouldn't that I think it's kind of perfect, actually. It creates this thing that rips the illusion away from everything. And I think that's just what we're doing. Like that, just like, I liked this comment from this person so much. I was just like, oh yeah, this is just what the show is doing. Like 100%. Absolutely. I'm utterly convinced of it. This is what the show is doing. And we'll see. But I think having Hank like be in prison because he's black, but like no one's speaking that publicly, I think is part of that. And then the second it's revealed maybe that he's in an interracial relationship and that veneer is ripped down, I think there's a lot of potential there.
I love this theory. This is so strong. And I think it's an astute understanding of film and how they're going to make the turn, as you said. But I mean, we should place money bets. This is so good because, like you said, it's got to be something scandalous. An interracial relationship in Derry would be crazy scandalous. If it's not that, it's got to be something on that level of illegal, forbidden, taboo. So I think this is a wonderful stance to have. And the commenter, good job, super smart. I think you're
I
right.
remember to write their name down. I'm sorry. They know who they are.
I think it's a great way of looking and establishing, because I think that's where I was getting tripped up as well, is I'm with you, Scott, where Derry has always been a toilet, an evil toilet of awful. In every story we've ever had, everyone goes to Derry, like Jake Epping from 11/22/60. He's like, ugh, this place, yikes, I gotta go.
Yeah.
And so it's always been that way, but then the show is doing something different. It is making that gilded frame, but it's rotted wood underneath the gold paint. Very, very cool. And I'm excited to see, because you've been right thus far. And I'm pretty sure you're right again. And I'm also sure you have psychic powers and that you shine, Scott. So
yeah, I don't think that's true. I mean, this is like I said, this was not even my original thought. I didn't see this until one of our listeners pointed it out to me. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm very excited about where this could possibly go, though. I think this is really cool.
If you're right, I'm gonna flip out in a good way, because yeah, if you're right, you really do shine, and you just found out.
Can I ask a related question?
Of course.
I mean, sort of related. Dick says he made it with Aretha Franklin when he's bragging to his friend. Is there any chance he's telling the truth?
Oh yeah, I think so. I do. He's a smooth operator. I do. I think that Aretha would have definitely had a good time. He's a charmer. He's smooth. He's cool. He likes music. Oh yeah, he would have. I have zero doubts. I absolutely believe that was true.
I love it. It's official now.
Right? I mean, he could be stretching it a little bit. I'm convinced he hooked up with a jazz singer or four. But if it was not Aretha, it's okay. But I don't know. I think I think he might be spinning a tall tale for the boys because Aretha's so famous. But I know for a fact he's had a harem.
I love it. I like what he's obviously like playing it up for the boys, yeah, but like, why is he's already like the most beloved man because he has special treatment, so why does he have to lie about that? So yeah, it happened. There we go.
Yeah, I think so.
Confirmed.
Right, my first instinct was like, oh, this totally you guys probably dated and had breakfast after. I mean, of course.
I think another part of this that I like so much is so we talked about the magical Negro trope with him, and I definitely think I am utterly convinced now that the show is just very much leaning into this idea.
Yeah.
And they're like, the fact that the government is so clearly using him as a tool, and that's all they care about. Like this idea. Like my first initial reaction to the thing that Shaw said, which is like, hey man, anything you want, anything you need. You just did a great thing for us. Anything you want, anything you need, I'll make it happen for you. And in the back of my head, I was like, really? That's how he's going to get the black spot? Because the black spot was like a dump that they had to like fix up themselves. And that was a very important part of it, is like that because of racism, the black folks in the military asked for a spot that was their own. And what the government gave them was a rundown shack, basically. And they had to turn it into their own thing. And it's this story of perseverance despite the odds being stacked against them and all this great stuff. And if it's just granted to him by Shaw as like a return of a favor, I felt like that lessened it a bit. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, oh no, they're still going to give him a shitty shack, and it's going to show us, like, despite the fact that this man is arguably the most important person on the base, they're not going to, the special treatment he gets is another veneer. It's another thing. It's a carrot for him to keep him being their tool, knowing that they're directly putting him in danger. This is something he directly tells the general, is like, look, this thing knows who I am now, and I'm in danger. And the general's like, don't worry about it, kid. You're fine. And he's like, General, maybe we should stop. And the general's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Like, no indication that we're going to stop. We're not stopping. And he will happily put Dick Halloran in harm's way, and Leroy Hanlon, and anyone else for that matter. And so this works perfectly with the Black Spot, actually, because they should give them a really nice place of their own to hang out with. They should, but they're not going to. And I just love that. I love what the show is doing.
Oh, that really helps me, Scott. That helps me a great deal, because I am with you with what you were mentioning about it felt cheapened, or the specialness of the Black Spot seemed to wither a bit, because if it's given by the military, well, then it doesn't have the integrity and the specialness of the Black Spot in the novel, which, as you said, was a ramshackle boards tacked together because they couldn't get anything on their own, or they couldn't be a part of Derry society. So they had to go off into the sticks and make something with their hands. And that's why we love it, even though it does end tragically. But I like what you said about it. It works again because Halloran is just their show pony. Mm-hmm. Halloran is their disposable gladiator, unfortunately. And I really felt the pain of that in this episode. I felt the pain of his exploitation so much. But it really helps me what you said of, we didn't really lose anything. We didn't really lose anything because it's going to be shitty. And Shaw looks at him and says, literally, rest up, Buttercup. I'll find you a cub house. And it's going to be trash. But they're going to be grateful for it. And yeah, you're right. It's Halloran's. We haven't lost anything from the Black Spot being slightly different, because it's still connected to Halloran's exploitation.
Yep. It's great. I love it. I love it all.
They're impressing me, Scott.
This is one of those things that sometimes it's hard talking about TV week to week, because it's like a lot of times in this episode, the very stuff I was complaining about an episode or two ago, I'm like, oh, I see what they're doing now, and it's actually really great. Like another example of this is we talked about the incredibly weirdly filmed moment of Leroy's attack in the middle of the night when the three gas masked men are attacked, and like I just felt that whole scene was directed weird. I didn't like it. And we talked about the weird cutaway to just one guy standing there inexplicably, and the show is like gesturing at this is important, but you don't know why. And of course we learn the reason this week was because that was Dick Halloran. He was there. And the other thing I made fun of the show for yesterday was like, how are you testing his fear response? Like, what do you have him hooked up to a machine? No, he had him hooked up to a Dick Halloran who was looking in his head and seeing his fear response to being in the situation. So again, this is another thing the general is using Dick for. He's his, like you said, like he's his like dog on a leash, essentially. Like, you're going to do this for me. You're going to do this for me. Like, now you're going to go stand here and be part of this whole thing where we're going to assault this guy in order to measure his fear response. And I need you to be the one in his head doing it. So again, stuff I insulted the last couple weeks ends up paying off in ways that I enjoyed. Now, does that mean like in the moment it's still not good? I think so, right? In the moment it's still kind of clunky, and like when you leave a scene confused, I don't think that's, unless the goal of the scene is to be confused, I don't think that's what the show's quite going for. But in retrospect, it becomes better.
It's asking a lot of viewers to suspend their judgments for 2 weeks, right? Yeah. I think it's most accurate what you said. It's in the moment. It still sucks, but I'm glad that we're able to make a patchwork quilt as we progress, and that they are smoothing over those potholes. So I am giving a ton of credit for that, because had they left that dangling, that's problematic. And so now that we see that, oh, you went back to that weird moment in episode 1. Good job, guys. Okay. That's accountability. And that's what I want to see in writers I'm invested in. That means you're not dicking us over.
let's kind of switch gears a little bit again. I want to go back to Shaw and Rose a little bit here, because one of the things we see in the flashback is this idea that Shaw is only in danger when he runs into the forest, and she's like, no, don't go in the forest. And then when they're right out of the forest, it's like, no, he's fine, he can't come here. And I was like, why is that? Was that like the Derry town line, and he just can't leave the town?
I don't know.
Why can't he leave the forest? I think what we're doing here actually is, I think these are going to be like the ceremonial lands of the tribe, and I think this is actually going to be a place of protection for them, and that is the reason why. So I think most of the people in the tribe are fighting for this place as just like another example of people encroaching on lands that belong to other people, and that we did this to the Native Americans over and over and over again. So everyone in the tribe is arguing against this and fighting back against the government doing this. But Rose's and her, I guess her son is the younger Native man. I forgot his name.
I did too. I'm sorry. I'm failing too.
But I guess that's her son. I don't know if they ever, so like, they seem to be playing a game on a different level, where like she's like, no, I don't want to stop them because I want to figure out what they want. And so one thing that I noticed, and I don't know if you listened to any of the extra stuff on this week's episode.
I did.
Rose's actor calls this group of this native tribe the Children of Maturin, which has not been a thing that's been said in the show yet, I don't think.
Oh, shoot. Oh my God, that's huge.
Yeah. I wonder if like someone didn't catch that, and like they should have edited that out of the interview, because maybe I missed it in any of the 3 episodes, but that's brand new information for us, I think.
Somebody's in trouble.
But I think what we're saying here, why those lands were safe and the forest wasn't safe. It's not like the forest is the dangerous area, and I think it's just this is the tribe's sacred land, and this is an area that is still protected by the turtle in one shape or another. And that's why they don't want them digging on it, because the idea that the digging might disrupt whatever stuff is protecting the spots that they have that are safe from it.
I like it. It tracks. That works beautifully. I'm on board for protected by Maturin. They ritual of chewed it, and that's the result. And okay, we won this. I bit my tongue, he bit his tongue, and then, or no, we bit each other's tongues. I got it wrong. Sorry. Yeah. There was tongue biting, and we got this chunk of land. So back off, Spider Boy, Spider Girl, Spider It. I did want to piggyback on our tribal scene. This is probably my biggest peccadillo of today, which is not a big deal. It's just a hungry for more. So I really love when we have natives on film. They're incredibly underrepresented. So I was excited when we have Rose, and we have so many moments with her, young Rose, adult Rose. I love the dialogue between her and older General Shaw in the shop. I thought it was touching. It was really great. But we have this tribal council scene, and we have native actors and tribal elders, and I just felt it was too short of a scene. And damn it, Scott, we don't know what the tribal name is. They didn't give us enough. And so my hope is that we will see more in the coming episodes. That is my hope. But if this is going to be, which we've talked about before, the show is going to be like a doubling down of It Chapter 2, right? We are just expanding upon that. In It Chapter 2, the story gives us the Shoshopiqua or Shokopiqua. I don't remember exactly what they're called. And so, okay, you introduce that, because in the novel, we don't have a native tribe. This is not like Pet Sematary when it's the Micmacs, right? We have this brand new native tribe. So you better give me all of it. I want all the lore. I want all the ceremonial dress. I want everything. I want to know the tribal elders. I want everything, Scott. So they better deliver, because they gave us this tribe. So you better make it real, and I better see a ton of native actors. I want a whole. They better give me all of it now, because now they introduced this. Pennywise himself told the Losers Club, when Mike's betrayal that would have never happened, Mike's lie in it chapter 2, which is preposterous. I'll never forgive them. I'm still mad about it. And yeah, so I think that's my biggest complaint. And it's not a complaint. It's just a desire for more. And it's a hope that they do not deny these native actors from shining bright like the diamonds they are. They better give it to us, Scott.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, like, we've talked about this like for hours now. So it's no surprise to me that I just think this is a show that's about race in a lot of ways. And like there's a lot of Black characters. That's not accidental. They're doing something with that. And we've already talked about that. But I think choosing to bring this native tribe into it and making them a focal point of the story is all going to be part and parcel of that. I don't know how much we're supposed to say things about things we've seen on like the trailers for next week's episode, but all I'll say is there's a scene in which Dick Halloran and the young native boy are in a room together, and like the boy is being held and Dick is being forced to do some mind whammy stuff to him. And that is so incredibly charged that the army's magical Negro tool is being used to torture and pull information out of a Native American. Like, holy shit, that has a lot of implications to it. And so like it becomes very clear that these are things we're intentionally doing and exploring. And I mean, honestly, that makes me more interested in the show, because on top of like, ooh, spooky things and scary stuff and Derry's bad, like the ways it's really driving into the ways in which this place and the country that it lives in have some serious problems and had some serious problems. Like, what is the point of making something set in the 1960s if you don't at least bump up against the things that were happening in that time period, especially when you're going to make a show about the bad history of a place? It feels like you have to. And so, yeah, it's encouraging that we're doing this, and I'm looking forward to more. So yeah, I hope the show doesn't let us down, like you're saying. I hope we get a lot more time with these characters. I do think it's funny because I looked up Kimberly Guerrero, who plays Rose, and she's like had a history in her whole life of being like an actress they cast when you need like a Native American to do something. Like, I think she is in one episode of Seinfeld where she's the Native American woman that dated Jerry for like a single episode. And it's like, that's like, she's made a career off of it, and she's a very talented actress. So I'm not diminishing that, but it's like, she's been like, if you want to hire like a token Native American person in like for a one-off in your show, this is a woman that made a lot of her early career out of that. And obviously, as representation for Native people has gotten better over the years, she's done really amazing work outside of just that kind of tokenism. But no, it's cool to see here, and I hope we see more of it. Yeah.
Same. We have the same name, so she's my bestie, and I really love her in this show. And I know that I don't have a lot of character work to stand on that, but what I have from episode 3 was so strong. I like her immediately.
Yeah.
I'm on board with what she's doing, so I'm really excited for more, and I'm bookmarking this right now, and we will circle back as we move forward. I hope that the tribe that they are going to hopefully expand upon gets the screen time it deserves.
Yeah. Well, and I like I think maybe you disagree with me, but the scene with her and Shaw, them as older, like they still have feelings for each other. Like he walked in the door and all of both of their feelings came flooding back right away. And that puts them in such an interesting dramatic situation where they are on exact opposite sides of a thing. It's like this is not like newly trotted territory. Like, we do this all the time with characters, but it's just smart. It's smart to do it this way because we now have them on opposite sides of a thing. They both have their own thing they're trying to get out of it. They have this conversation when they're talking to each other, but we know they're both lying. We know General Shaw is lying about why they're digging, and we know she's lying about why she doesn't want them to dig, and yet they both still have feelings for each other. These 50-year-old feelings have been immediately rekindled. It's just great. It's just great stuff.
It's the Bill Bev effect. I mean, that's a tall order, but it made me think of that because even though we're not crazy as readers of the novel that Bev hooks up with Bill, it's part of their journey. It's part of the return to Derry and the magic and all that good stuff. So I think it's nice that we have that sweet cuteness.
Yeah. I will say my only complaint about the scene with them, I felt like the dialogue around the Derry magical forgetfulness stuff was a little clunky. And maybe it's just the fact that we do it 2 times. Like we do it with them when they're older and saying, I completely forgot about you. And then we cut back to them saying goodbye to each other when they're kids. And she again says, oh, you'll see, Derry makes you forget things. It was like, I don't know. This is me. Like, this isn't a huge complaint or anything. It just felt that was a little too exposition-y for me. I feel like there might have been a better way to go through and establish the weird Derry makes you forget stuff.
I also feel that way, and I'm wondering why she said it when she was younger. I don't like, why do you have that knowledge right now? Why? Yeah. So I think that should have been edited out. I agree.
Yeah, well, we had already established it. We're good. The importance of the scene between the two of them is just that he's leaving and they're both sad about it. And you can even like maybe you just leave it unspoken that one of the reasons, like he says, don't worry, I will never forget you and you'll never forget me. And she just kind of silently like looks sad about it. And so we don't even have to say, no, you see, this is this magical place where when you leave it for some reason, you just forget everything. Like we just see this look of forlorn sadness on her face and we get it. She knows what's going to happen when he leaves. He doesn't know yet. And there's a tragedy to that. And I feel like that hits you in the spot more than her just repeating Derry makes you forget again. But I don't know. What do I know?
No, Scott's edits are much stronger.
Okay, so the character we haven't spent any time with at all today are the children. Lily and Ronnie and Rich and little Will Hanlon. Yes.
Sweet baby precious angel, Will Hanlon.
So our Losers Club class of 62. They all get together in this episode to hunt Pennywise. Well, they haven't done that part yet, but it's all leading up to that. I love, by the way, that like the next time we see Will and Rich, they're just friends now. Like it's when Ronnie sees the lipstick on her locker, they're just like fast friends. And I think that's so true to like school. Like when you're a kid in school, you talk to someone like one time and you're just friends now. Like that's how it works. It just works that fast. And so it's just Will and Rich are just really good friends now. And one thing I don't think I was consciously realized it last week because Rich is just such a minor character in that episode, but he's Cuban. We learned that this week that he's Cuban. This is another, I think, very specific choice because I think it was not long before this moment that Castro came to power in Cuba. And there was a big revolution. And so the idea of here's a Cuban immigrant, maybe he himself is not an immigrant, but his parents definitely would be, that is another charged thing here because we do have a moment where Rich says, this is America. You just don't arrest people here for no reason. And Will looks at him like he's crazy and is like, what country are you living in? And it's like, maybe these two people, because one is an immigrant from Cuba and the other is a black person living in America, have a very different viewpoint of what it's like to live in this country. And are we going to do something with that? Or are we just like, I don't even say we have to do something with that, but just like being present is part of this whirling like circle of race stuff we're doing in the show, with the America stuff and race stuff. And it's just, I liked it a lot.
I love the Cuba stuff. That's such a great call. I just thought he was our little baby Ricky Ricardo.
I mean, he's definitely that too. Yeah.
I'm smitten kitten for the both of them. I'm so thrilled they're friends. Their little hangout spot at the Derry Grill, which is such a beautiful scene. It's so gorgeous. Yes. The costumes, the colors, they have their little milkshakes. And little baby Rich is talking about boobs and he shouldn't be because he's 7.
He does look like 7, but
he's so little.
This is actually, I love the scene because you're so right. So first of all, like just why? How come this episode is so much better written than all the others? But like in this scene, in this moment, we start the scene in this diner and everything's going great. But the two characters, they're having a conversation about the first astronaut to go into space peed his pants, and they're like little boys giggling about how silly it is that the first astronaut was in space, peed his pants. Then we cut to Rich blowing bubbles in his chocolate milk, like one of the or shake, whatever, one of like the most childish, like childish, like adolescent things you could ever do. Like that's just the image of adolescence, is blowing bubbles in your chocolate milk. And we go right from that to Rich suddenly talking about who has the best tatas in school. And it really, to me, demonstrates this like weird liminal space that boys of this age live in, when they're still kids, but they're also starting to become like young adults, and they're in this weird transition period. So we can go from laughing about peeing pants and blowing bubbles in milk to, hey, who has the best boobies in our class, huh? And it's just like, it's this, and like this is something that I think like the novel It just did like a fantastic job of, like just showing these kids at this crossroads of growth. And it, like, frankly, I think it does a better job than like this show does, but like this is a great moment of channeling that same energy and doing that same thing. And I was like, oh wow, that's actually really clever, because my first reaction was exactly yours, which is just like, he's way too young to be talking about boobies. That's like, oh wait a minute though, he isn't though. Or maybe he is, or maybe it's a little bit of both. And it's great. It's great.
I like that. I like that a lot. Because yes, I was a very concerned citizen at first. I was like, stop. You are not talking about anyone's tatas. But that's actually really helpful, the liminal space, because he could just look really young for his age. And I actually felt bad criticizing him. I was like, you're way too young. And I was like, I don't know how old this person is.
I think he's short. He is a little Ricky Ricardo. He's just short.
Right. He's little, and he's small in stature for right now, but I should be more accepting of people growing, of children growing at their own rates. Yeah. And I should be aware of that. So, but I think that helps a lot, because at first I was eye rolling and I was like, this little baby perv in training. But I'm like, no, it was delivered with such like innocence and almost cuteness. And you could tell he's almost uncomfortable with the language. Like it feels foreign. It feels foreign to him, which all of that was captured in our little actors, which was great.
I love what he says to Will. It's like, what, they don't call them those where you come from? And Will's like, no, they do.
Will can do no wrong in my eyes. He is my sweet baby angel.
He really just refuses to engage on the whole Tata's conversation.
Right? Because he knows, he's like, what? I does not compute. I am science.
I do love, again, like, we're contriving the plot to get these four together, but we're doing so in a way that feels very natural to me, because the reason why they get together is because Ronnie and Lily want to take this photo, but they don't know how to develop film, and they don't think that if they send it off to like the druggist, he's gonna actually develop the film of their ghosts they took a picture of in the cemetery. So they're like, who do we know that's smart? And Ronnie's like, one time he said some really weird shit about a stink bomb. So I think maybe he knows how to develop film. And of course Will figures it out because he's Will. But I love that. And how we link them together. And also Will has a crush on Ronnie, and that works perfectly. I need to know right now what the poem about Marge on the inside of Richie's shoe is.
Oh God. Oh, I don't know.
What could it possibly say? Like, what could it say?
Roses are red, violets are blue. Marge, I forget her last name. I don't know. Your Pennywise eyes are true.
They're really leaning into that, because we get to see the Pennywise eyes again. Marge does not appear in this episode at all.
Is that why we like it so much?
Actually, I was missing Marge. I need a little bit more Marge. I mean, I hate her, but like I think the show wants me to. So
I'm curious. They made me very curious about Marge, which is a good thing, because I'm wondering what's behind this cuckoo lady.
Yeah, I think the lipstick on the locker was done by Marge. That's my current opinion, because we cut to the other 3 patty cakes all standing around looking, and that is the show gesturing that we're supposed to think it was them. I don't think it was them. I think this was a Marge thing in an attempt to win them over. And, you know, like we've seen in 2 episodes, Marge attempts to do these things in order to get people to like her, and she goes too far every single time. And this feels like this feels like such a Marge move to me, that she would do that, and just it's way too far. And I think we'll find that in the next week's episode. I think
you're right. And screw you, Marge. That was a perfectly good tube of lipstick. You're a jerk.
So much lipstick.
You
really
wasted
committed
it.
to it. Yeah.
And also, you're a devil. That is cruel. That was so cruel. You are hateful. You have a spirit of hate in you. I'm curious to know why. So I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. But you're right, Scott. It's going to be Marge.
My formal prediction is Marge is going to die at some point during the show. I mean, I think a lot of people are going to die, but I think Marge is going to die at some point in the show. And the only thing I'm curious of is if they've done all this work to make us really dislike her. Are they going to, like, right before they kill her, like really make us feel bad for being so mean to her right before? Like, I feel like this is in the cards, actually, that we're going to learn what, like, Marge's home life is like, or something that's going to make us go like, oh, I get why you were so desperate for others' approval now and so mean. And now I feel bad. I mean, it doesn't forgive any of the bad stuff you've done, and you're still going to die. But I feel bad about it a little bit.
I feel like Scott shines firstly. But if she doesn't die, is she the mother of Richie Tozier? Is that theory that she and Rich Santos hook up and give birth to Richie? I don't know if that works in the timeline, but I like that combination. So I'm going to hold out a little hope that she changes her ways. Maybe she has a come to Maturin moment and and changes her dumbness, and we just learn more about her character. But I also would be on board with a teary death. I'd shed a tear for Marge if we cross that bridge.
Yeah. Would be like what was the character in Stranger Things that everyone was mad when they killed off? Barb. The justice for Barb stuff got out of hand. It was like, did you like her that much? She was fine. Barb was fine.
She was. It was, that was a big movement.
It was like there's a little too much. It's like, I don't believe you all liked Barb as much as you're pretending to like Barb.
However, if Barb came back, that would be very cool. If I don't think we did see pieces of her, but I don't know. Nobody's ever really dead in the Upside Down, I think.
Well, that actually brings me to a thing that I've seen about this show multiple times. Have you seen the theory that Phil is not dead? Have you seen this theory?
No. Oh my goodness.
So I don't know if I believe in this, but the evidence for the theory is as follows, and this is pretty thin. When we see all the dead kids on the cereal boxes, the only face that doesn't rot is Phil's. And then when we go to the graveyard and all the ghosts attack them, we don't see Phil's ghost, I believe. It's, oh God, I don't even remember the names of the kids anymore. But I think we see Maddie's ghost. We see Susie's ghost. And then we see
Teddy Uris.
I think we see Teddy's ghost. I think we only see 3. We don't see Phil's ghost. Now, I don't know for sure. Sometimes with these ghosts, it was a little hard to see who was who. I think they were moving around really quickly, not killing people. But that's the theory. I don't know if I buy this, because my follow-up question every time I see this is, to what end? Like, what would the point of that be?
Right.
And I don't see it. Maybe they could do something with it, but I don't really see it.
It is a fun theory. Good job, everyone. Very astute, very observational. Yes, though, to what end?
His face also did get thrown very hard into a piece of glass, and he dropped from several feet.
It burst. His head burst.
I think he's super dead. And maybe there's just it'll cost an additional $30,000 to rot his head. We've got the effect enough with the other 3. Let's just move on. is my theory. Yeah. So
I think that's a strong stance, Scott. I think all the brilliant listeners and viewers out there who make these wonderful connections, get dumber, everybody. Get dumber, and you're too smart. You're too smart for these shows that aren't that smart, because they just aren't. I'm sorry. And I know they do make a lot of great decisions, but this ain't one of them. I really think that we got to just get dumber.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of dumb, the last thing I wanted to talk about this week is kind of our big closing set piece of the episode. So it seems like the format of this show is going to be every episode we have two big scare sequences. This week, the first was the skeleton man in the forest chasing after a young Shaw and Rose. And then our second one is the kids go to the cemetery in order to get evidence of it. I didn't like a lot of this scene at all. I thought this was not good, and it was not a great way to end the episode. An episode that I really liked, and I think we spent the last hour basically nonstop praising.
+1, Scott. +1 to the no bueno basket. I feel the same.
I mean, you made the Casper the Friendly Ghost comment at the beginning of the show, and like, I mean, that's the weird thing. So here's my overarching problem with what we're doing. We have this first episode in which we do this big, surprising, shocking ending. This thing where we're basically trying to declare nobody in this show is safe. You thought these guys were the main characters, and then we killed them all except Phil, but also probably Phil. And like, it's this declarative, bold statement, and it was surprising. It surprised us. It surprised everyone, and we liked it. I thought we liked it. And then they follow that up. I think one of the things we said in that episode was like, this is really cool, but if it's just going to be like, we're just going to do this, and then everyone else is just like, it's like it again. We get another losers club together, and that's it. That's going to feel a little bit weird. And basically that's what the scene did for me, where it's like these ghosts pop up and they're not like trying to hurt anyone. They just kind of fly around and then they move out of the way. And like one even wraps around Will and then just like lets go. And it's just like, it feels like they're just silly, like the three annoying ghosts from Casper that are just like, they're just fucking with them. They're not trying to hurt them. They're not in any danger. It felt very kitty and cartoony in a show whose first episode was like, we're gonna rip kids' arms off, and you won't even expect how gross we're gonna be. And I was just like, why is it like this? I don't know. Am I the only one that feels this way?
Absolutely not. I think there are several in your corner, because we all climbed aboard Disneyland's Haunted Mansion ride in the cemetery. The stakes were incredibly low for all of and I think all it was a very jaunty kids on bikes moment. Mm-hmm. Where the camera is back and forth, which was cute. And it was cute. The whole sequence is cute. But like you said, Scott, this didn't start out cute. This starts out frightening and serious. Yeah. And so is this just a time filler? Is this just you're trying to create a dramatic sequence that's going to make the kids friends? And so at the end of the sequence, they all hug, which is my favorite part of the scene, is they all hug. They all found each other. And I think that could have been done differently without the razzle-dazzle Disneyland ride that we got. I think, why are you, again, we've touched on this a lot, the CGI bullshit, the too much button. Like, why did you waste money on that when you could have made different choices with the cemetery, with the camera thing? We could have done it differently, and you still would have had the end result, which is all of them finding each other. They all believe, they're all on the same page now, and they hug it out, which is what we get, which is the best part.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I thought this setup was really good before we go into the it attack itself. Like all these 4 people are in the cemetery. They're there because Rich made up some bullshit. Like he just made it all up. He had no idea what he was talking about.
It's all bullshit.
He's just desperate for friends, and he saw an opportunity here to befriend these people. So he doesn't really believe in any of the stuff he's selling. We know Will doesn't believe in any of it. He's a man of science. We've established this. Again, his science is next to his name in the character sheet. And then we have these 2 girls who vehemently believe it, and they not only believe it because they've experienced it, because like for Lily, the idea that she could be insane is like she can't even process, because the Juniper Hill is so terrifying to her that she has to believe it. And Ronnie is like needs it to be true and believes it because of her father. And so we have all these people at this impasse, and that's the beginning of the scene, is them coming together to do this thing and then breaking apart because they're all at odds with each other. And then over the course of the scene, yes, you're right, they all come together, and by the end they're hugging, and they're bound now, they're quartet now. That's great. But yeah, the method of doing that was so silly and weird, and yeah, in a different show would have been, I think, totally fine. But like it does feel so off-putting and weird in a show like this that went out of its way to gross you out, to like drive you crazy, and to push this idea that nobody's safe, anyone could die. I was like, well, no, these four people are not dying, or at least not yet. This is also one thing that I think sometimes TV has a problem with. Like, I made the same complaint about Alien Earth, where it's a show in which before the television show existed, all of this had to only operate in like a 90 to 180 minute movie. And therefore you could only have like certain set pieces and sequences where they come in contact with the alien and then escape. But like, if you want to include the alien in every episode of Alien Earth, you also have to include a moment where the alien attacks them, but they get away. And like in a television show, if you want to have these horror sequences in every episode of the television show in it, then you need to have them encounter it every episode and then get away. And eventually isn't going to get to a point where it's like, it's kind of silly they keep fighting this thing and getting away magically every time. And I don't think we're there already because it's only episode 3, but it's like it feels like a scene where we basically went into where both the writers, actors, directors, and audience all were on the same page before we even walked into the cemetery that none of these children were going to die here today, and that everyone behaved as if that were the case. And that feels weird ultimately, I think.
I like that so much, and I think they had a missed opportunity with their botched Santeria. That's where we really could have had some stuff go down, because these 4 little idiots didn't even have a salt circle, Scott. I mean, the demons were everywhere, and oh my goodness.
Yeah, like I think, again, sometimes this is where the plot is getting in the way of the story of like the reason why the its appearance in this thing had to be the children is because they need to take pictures of ghost kids and then be able to go to the police and be like, look, here's a picture of the girl that died 2 weeks ago. Not that that's going to work anyway, but like in their mind, that's what they need. Like, they can't go, here's a picture of some sort of Cuban demon. Doesn't this prove that my father is innocent?
What?
No. So like it needed to be it needed to come to them in some form that matched to what happened in the theater, but it doesn't actually make sense for it to be these. First of all, it shows up as Richie's Tio, which I thought, when I saw that's where I thought we were going. I thought we were like, oh, you're fucking with this weird spiritual shit and you're making it all up, Rich, and you don't know what you're doing, and so it's going to come at you in the scariest version of what was it called again? The
Babalao.
Yeah. The Oriha, I think, is the name of the actual speech. Yeah.
Oricha. I looked it up.
Yeah.
I looked it up because I'm a nerd for this stuff. So they said it was like an evil spirit. It's not. It's a benevolent West African whatever. And
so he is just totally bullshitting.
Yes. Bullshit, all caps. And what was super funny, Scott, is he is literally saying in Spanish, Mary full of grace, over and over again. That's his little spell, is Mary full of grace.
That's great.
There's no demon coming. And so there's no Oricha, but then his uncle, Tio, is a brujo. He's a witch. So that was cool. I was down with that lore. But the Oricha, it's not an evil spirit. So then, so nobody on the writers' room did their homework with that.
Well, no, I that's possible. But like a charitable read is that this is just a word that Rich heard sometime. And because I think he's just making everything up. He's just making all of this shit up. So, but like, wouldn't it be cool if that's how, like, this is the thing that he's making up. And so this is how it's going to present itself, is like, you think you're fucking with the spirit stuff. So that's what's going to appear to you. But again, the plot demands that we take pictures of little Susie and these other people. And so that's what we have to do. And I also like the little 5-minute post show thing where Muschietti's like, yeah, so this time the ghosts appear, but this time they're like charged with this green ectoplasm, which was cool and freaky. And I was like, okay, yeah, but like, why?
Right.
Which, I mean, the reason is it's freaky. That's how it operates. But yeah, it's just like in an episode that was filled with character work. I love that, to your point, the beginning and end of the scene from a character perspective works so well. The sequence itself, I was just like, yeah. It's just, I mean, it does feel like a kid's movie. Like even we have this camera, we have a ball that we're passing between the four of us as we're fleeing from ghosts. It feels like it belongs in a completely different show than this.
It was Disney Channel.
Yeah, yep. You're right.
It was Disney Channel, sadly. Sad. When we had that awesome little failed seance, they should have doubled down there. That would have been spooky.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we get a picture of Pennywise at the end of the episode.
Do we? I mean, I'm just being a brat. I know it's him, but I saw a guy in a sombrero. I saw a very decorated mariachi outfit, Scott.
What I said was, the only reason you know that's a clown is because the script told you. There's nothing in that picture that looks like a clown.
Facts. Yeah. No.
But that is our. How's your friend doing, by the way? This friend that said I'm just here for the clown. We're 3 episodes in, no clown.
Oh my God, Scott, she is pissed. She's going to burn the place down. My friend Jill, who said, quote, "I am only here for Pennywise." She is madder than a hornet's nest. She is so upset. And I feel for all the Pennywise fans out there. You are being teased, y'all. They're dangling that carrot. We got a real strip club situation where you are just not seeing anything.
I think we're going to get him next week. I mean, we got his voice this week, so I think we're finally going to get him next week. What did you think of the 1908, the little girl clown in makeup, like petting a horn? What was going on there?
Great question. I am so perplexed by that. They have to be correlated because they have similar makeup with the pitchfork
it's the same makeup
design, which was cool. I'm very interested. But yeah, that was another carrot dangled. They have to be connected somehow. I think we'll see her again. I think it was a girl. I think.
I double checked because I was like, is that a girl or a boy? I mean, not that it matters. It's if it's irrelevant. But I thought it was really interesting because it's one of those things, and I think I've just expected this of the show now, is we're going to cut to random stuff and it's not going to pay off until an episode or 2 later. Like I'm just expecting that now. So I just quickly filed that away as, we were doing an insert shot here of her petting the horn because that's going to pay off in some way in the future. Who knows how exactly, but it is.
I think that's a smart perspective to have, that we're going to have to, going forward, place mental bookmarks everywhere. Mm-hmm. And it's not ideal, but it's cool now that we're already seeing in episode 3 that they are following through. They're following through with these bookmarks. So I'm hoping, it's just hard to keep track of all of them.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe a great rewatch after all the episodes are out might. That is my hope, actually. Like, once we're all said and done, my hope is that rewatching this show will be a good experience.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm enjoying it still, right? Like we have, I think there's one sequence every week that I'm just like, I did not like this at all, but like, I'm still enjoying my time with it, and this week's episode especially.
Samesies. I think the first 2 episodes, I was very cranky. I think we were both a little cranky because we are readers of the novel.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of power and love in that. And so you have to let it die. You have to let it die completely. And then by episode 3, it's dead. You're dead inside. And you're just like, let's just roll the dice. Let's just have fun. Let's just try to find all the good. And that's what we're doing. And I think it's working.
Yeah, I agree. I'm enjoying the show, and I'm excited for what comes next for sure. I'm particularly excited to see 4 children go to the police station and show a picture of a ghost to Chief Bowers and have him go, "What do you want me to do with this?"
Totally. Either A, the photos are going to be damaged somehow.
Yeah.
B, Bowers is going to extinguish his cigarette on it and frame Hank further. I don't know. Bowers are evil. I don't expect anything good out of them. But I don't know. You're the one with shine powers, Scott. So you call it.
I think he's just going to look at him and be like, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
like, first of all, I thought my one complaint about the darkroom scene, which I thought was a pretty good scene, and I have a lot of Ghostbusters 2 memories of them taking pictures of the Vigo in the painting and Vigo setting all the photos on fire. So I was like primed to jump, waiting for something to happen with the photos themselves in the scene, and it doesn't ultimately happen. But I thought we didn't get to see a lot of clear pictures of what the ghosts actually look like in the picture. Like, is it A, clear that the person that they're saying it is, which the kids seem to think so, and is it B, clear that they're also simultaneously a rotting ectoplasmic ghost? Because if both of those are not true, you bring a picture to the chief of police and saying, "Look, the thing that haunted us in the theater, it's back." And I took a picture of it in the cemetery yesterday. It's like, "Oh, that's a picture of your friend?" "Yeah." "Did you take it yesterday or 3 weeks ago?" "Yesterday." "Well, how prove it?" "Oh, I can't do that."
Oh, yeah.
"Okay. Well, the end." Like, again, I have no problems with this plot line because I do think it's a very child adolescent thing to do of like, nobody believes us. We have to prove it to them. If we just appeal to authority with evidence, they will accept that we're telling the truth. And it's just like, I think we as adults are just like, no, they won't. I have no problem with that plot line. It makes perfect sense for them as kids, but I'm excited to see how it just ends with nothing resolved whatsoever.
That's basically what's going to happen. All that work for nothing.
Yeah.
Those poor little lambs.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddies.
Can I say one more scene that bothered me? And then
Absolutely.
we can... Juniper Hill.
Oh, God.
We had this moment at the end of episode 2 in which Lily's like is blackmailed into basically recanting her testimony of what happened in order to get Hank arrested. Something she feels incredibly guilty about, but she's threatened to going back to Juniper Hill. And then Pickle Dad happens and she goes back to Juniper Hill. And we end on this kind of, I don't want to call it a cliffhanger, but like this emotional beat of like, oh no, Lily's back in Juniper Hill. This is terrible. And then we start this episode on, no, never mind. She's getting out. It's fine. And we spend a brief amount of time in Juniper Hill, and that time is like zooming over while there are screaming people in the background, and it's built to look like this horrible, terrible place. But the scene that exists in Juniper Hill is Lily, and turns out the head housekeeper was a woman that Lily had really bonded with during her time in her stay last time at Juniper Hill. And she's this wonderful, perfect woman who is like kind to her and understanding and believes her, and like is the one that puts the charm bracelet back on her hand that has the Maturin charm on it, which a lot of people have speculated that's one of the reasons why Lily survived the theater incident and no one else did, is because the turtle on the bracelet literally represents the protection of Maturin. And maybe that puts this housekeeper character as like a avatar of the turtle or whatever. But I just like, it's one of those moments that I'm just like, the scene just felt really strange to me, and I can't really even figure out why. It's by the way, it's an actress named Madeline Stowe who's playing this character, who is like a pretty well known character actor. That I'm very surprised if this is the only scene in the show that she's in. I'm very surprised that this actress would make like basically a 5-minute cameo in the show and just be done. It's one of those moments where when you're watching TV and you see actors you recognize, you're like, oh, I'm assuming this person's going to have a bigger part later. I don't know if that's true with this character, but I was perplexed by the scene. I'm curious what you feel.
Very, very perplexed, right along with you. And I watched this episode a few times because the first time I watched it, I was so shocked by what Juniper Hill was for Lily. Because I expected that we would see her with a Thorazine drip and in the corner drooling, because that's what we associate Juniper Hill with, because that's what we saw Bowers, his experience with it in the past. Like, this is for, you're catatonic. You are basically controlled by meds. And so we've got Lily, who's chipper, ? But she seems well-adjusted, calm, sweet, inquisitive. She's still, I think, I really like this actress a lot. I just like her meek mildness. I think there's a lot of strength to that. Every time she talks, it's like she's swallowing back tears, which I think is commendable. So I really like her. She has my heart already. I really like her. But I was confused, Scott. Like, what are we doing here with Juniper Hill? So apparently it's not that bad. Apparently it's a sunny little weekend away, maybe a week rest.
Yeah, I mean, our image of it with everyone else seems like it's awful. Like I said, like we've got the sounds of people screaming in the background, and it looks dumpy, and then but the scene with Madeline Stowe as the housekeeper, like she's changing a bed in a house, like it's a very clean, controlled room. There's sunlight shining in. Apparently her time there, was relatively short, which I think sometimes we do this thing with cliffhangers, and I don't even know if it's meant to be a cliffhanger, but we end episodes on certain emotional beats in order to get a reaction out of people. Like ending this episode on Lily goes back to Juniper Hill anyway is like a really, really downbeat that makes you feel terrible. And we even reacted to it, right? We said last week, is like, this girl needs a win. This is awful. And so we built up to this beat to end on this moment, to end on this emotional low for this character. And it feels like sometimes you write yourself into a corner with that, and you're like, but we can't have her be in Juniper Hill because we need her to be with Ronnie and Rich and Will and doing Losers Club stuff. So we have to get her out of Juniper Hill. And so how do we do it? Well, we just do it. It's just like, well, she turns out she was only there for a couple days, and now she's back out, and it was fine actually. She doesn't like it in there. It was fine. What she got in there was she got her powerful bracelet back, and she got a moral lesson from Madeline Stowe about how to do the right thing, and that she do the right thing. So it's actually, she benefited from her time in Juniper Hill because it allowed her to make the correct decision that she should help Ronnie instead of herself. So good, hooray!
I guess. And contextually, I was looking in the scene so hard for any hint of, oh, Lily's crazy. What if there's madness? What if the nurse is duplicitous? What if there's an ulterior motive? What if who's against Lily? And there's none of that. It's just sunny and warm and good. And I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
And so I had, watching it multiple times, realizing, oh, this is just a deflated balloon. All my expectations were something very different.
Yeah.
And so, I think you're right. We just had to get her out of there to get her with the kids.
But she's on a higher dose of chlorpromazine, which I'm sure will be very good for her.
Oh, dear. That poor sweet angel. But that's the thing. We haven't really seen... I mean, this is hard. They're kid actors. We're asking a lot of them, because how do you tell an actor act really sad all of the time?
Yeah.
You are so consumed with loss. Now also act sad and drugged.
Yeah.
So I get it. It's a tall order for the youth.
I totally understand it. I just feel like they wanted, sometimes they just think about the emotional moment, and then writing's hard, right? It's sometimes hard to get, sometimes you just need to get characters from A to B, and there's just no good way of doing it. Not in the time frame you want to do it in. And so we just kind of yada over to time. I mean, like, if you step back, she had a psychic break and they brought her to Juniper Hill for like a weekend of observation, and like she probably was under 48-hour observation and they let her out, and that was it, right? But that's like the way the scene in the end of episode 2 ends. That doesn't feel like what it is. It feels like a moment of her worst nightmare has come true. She is back here now, and that's gonna be a plot thing that she's gonna have to deal with, and it just kind of ultimately isn't. So
I'm hoping they use it again, because now that we've met the nice head of housekeeping, Madeline Stowe, who is a pretty big actress. You're correct, Scott.
Yeah.
My Scott shining theory here is that Pennywise will pervert that somehow. And so we might come back to Juniper Hill, because in the intro, which we all love, with Ribbon and a Smile, there is an illustration where a child is getting a prefrontal lobotomy in Juniper Hill.
Yeah, true.
And so we do have those telling scenes in the intro with Kitchener Ironworks, with Bradley Gang. So I'm wondering, are you going to do something with Juniper Hill and this was a fake out? And you are going to take a person that Lily trusts, loves, a warm person, and that's primo fodder for Pennywise for Pennywise to work on you. So I'm hoping they do something with it. But if not, well, then good job, Lily. I'm glad it wasn't a bad time for you. You did need a break.
Yeah. It'd be really funny if next week's episode she shows the pictures and they're just like, okay, you go back. She's just back.
This is blank photo paper, Lily.
Okay, last thing I want to say, and I want to acknowledge that this is like quibbling of the highest order here. I think it's a little, again, this is a weird writing thing that I don't think matters, but kind of does matter, maybe. I think it's a little too neat and tidy that they have this experience in the movie theater, and then she has Pickle Dad experience, and then automatically says, I think these two things are related and it's the same entity haunting me in each. So one thing that the book and It Chapter 1, the film, did was they all saw like the clown, and it was like the idea that they had this terrible effect, this terrible thing happened to them, but they all also saw this weird clown that scared them, and that allowed them to like collectively unify that all of these weird things that are happening to us are part and parcel of the same thing. And we don't have that in the show. So it's like they go to the movie theater and like a baby jumps out of the screen and tries to eat them, and then she goes to the store and then her dad is in a pickle jar, and then Ronnie is birthed from her mom, and just like it's almost too neat and tidy, and like, well, the audience understands this, so we're not going to make the characters have to reason through it, of just saying all these three things are clearly related to each other and responsible for some central thing that's doing all three of them. Like, that just felt, I don't know. Like, again, this is quibbling. I don't think it matters. I'm enjoying the show still, but it's just like they just decided to kind of yada over that in a way that I don't think the other It stories have done.
It does matter, Scott. It does. You are valid. Oh, that's such a great point. That is such a great point. I missed that completely, because you're right. We understand the story. We get the kids. We are a built-in audience. We don't need it explained to us, but they should. And this is lazy writing, and they're being lazy because they want to jam pack it with razzle dazzle, is my theory. They have a big CGI budget and costumes and set pieces, and we have expressed there's a lot of love for that here. We appreciate a lot of that. But yeah, that's such a great point. They are sloppily just smoke and mirrors. You don't need it. They just come together that it's all the same entity, which logically, no, that would not happen.
Like, if you saw a werewolf today and a vampire tomorrow, you might go, well, weird shit's happening. But would you, you probably wouldn't go, I bet the vampire and the werewolf are part of the same thing that's hunting me.
They're in cahoots, clearly. Clearly they're colluding. No, you're right. Yeah, it's just that's a sloppy boo-boo in the script. And maybe, like you said, Scott, it was there, but chopping and editing and I don't know, maybe nobody's paying attention.
I feel so conflicted about it because like the like solve for this is to just have everything that happens to them transform into the clown right before it fades away. And like, I don't actually think that's a good thing. And I actually respect the show for holding back on the clown stuff as much as it has. And so to say that like the solve for this complaint is to do the opposite of the thing I just praised the show for feels weird to me. But I don't know. I don't have to solve this problem. I just have to nitpick it incessantly.
I love it. We are all mad here as we try to analyze this and make it work, which I think we've done a lovely job of.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this episode. I
Me
really
too.
did. I thought this was the best character stuff so far. I am in tune with every single character. I'm excited. I need more Marge in my life. I need more of her. I can't like, it's like absence makes the heart go fonder. You know what I mean? It's like last week I was like, Marge, what the hell? And this week I'm like, more Marge. Bring on the Marge.
I love that. Oh, that's great. You can't live with her and you can't live without her.
Who is your favorite character in the show as of right now?
This is a beautiful question. I think my immediate answer that just flies out of me is Will Hanlon immediately.
Mm-hmm.
But then a close second is I gotta do a top 3. I just gotta do a top 3, Scott. And with my top 5 anything, everyone sits at the gold table and they each get an equal pie slice. So my 3 golds would be Will Hanlon, Dick Halloran, and Charlotte Hanlon. Immediately.
Yeah, I love Charlotte too, and my only real complaint, aside from all the other stuff of this episode, is there's not more of her in it.
Yes.
She's in it. She has her part. I enjoyed her role in the dinner scene quite a bit. I wish there was more in her this episode, but I think there'll be time for that in the future.
I hope so. And Scott, as a Texan, what is mud cake? Is that Texas sheet cake that she was making? I
have no idea what mud cake is.
Okay, well, I want it because Charlotte made it.
My guess is it's very dense. It sounds like it.
It's probably just brownie. They call it mud.
Yeah.
Which sounds delicious and perfect.
So I'm looking it up right now. I've heard of it's saying Mississippi mud cake. I've heard of Mississippi mud pie before. I don't know if Mississippi mud cake and Mississippi mud pie are the same thing.
Listeners, go to it. Tell us what mud cake is. Inquiring minds need to know. The holidays are coming up. I gotta get bacon.
It seems like it's just a very rich, dense, and moist chocolate cake. It's very fudgy and dense.
But yeah, my homegirl Charlotte is a teacher, and she's my bestie. Oh gosh, I'm leaving out Rose. Rose gets the 4th spot. This is so hard. Everybody, I just love everyone, Scott, so much.
Yeah, I do too. I think Dick is probably my favorite as of right now, but that's recency bias because he just had an all-timer of an episode. So I'm sure that'll change tomorrow and next week as well. Speaking of next week, episode 4 is titled The Great Swirling Apparatus of Our Planet's Function, which is a mouthful.
I can't. What? I don't know.
I'm sure they'll make it make sense.
That has to be a Will Hanlon science thing, I hope.
Yeah, I think so. I wonder if we're gonna unlock some like of the lore of it. Which, by the way, what Shaw said so first of all, a hilarious scene where Shaw commands his troops to take apart the car piece by piece, looking for something. Not clear what it is, and then they go like, "Sir, we took apart the car. There's nothing in the car. We also dug in a mile perimeter around where we dug up the car, and we found nothing." And Shaw's just like, "Yeah, of course. What we're looking for came long, like 300 years before the car was even invented." And like, I don't know if you see it on the Colonel's face, but in my head, there's a look of like, What the fuck? Why'd you make us do that then?
Oh my goodness. Oh man.
But the reason I brought this up was just the lore of Pennywise, the idea of, are we saying that Pennywise came to Derry 300 years ago? Because that is a big shift from the book, which is literally at the birth of the planet, like millions of years ago is when Pennywise crash landed into the space and has been here for millions of years. So I honestly can't remember what the Machete films did with that, if they changed that or not, but maybe Shaw just has the wrong information and it's much older than we think it is.
I having recently watched it chapter 2, there was no round number like 300. It was just the Shoshopiqua encountered it and they did the ritual of Chute and they all died, and Mike lies about that and takes their leather lampshade bucket down into the sewer, and that whole nightmare. But oh my gosh, no, I think 300 is most likely going to be something they do in this series. So hopefully we get some good lore that explains, okay, so that would be 1700s-ish. So that's early colonies. So maybe we'll get some Revolutionary War stuff. Cool.
I do like it as like, I'm not ready to just say I was like, oh, the show is just completely rewriting when it came to Earth or whatever. I like it as like what this tribe knows is when they first encountered it, and maybe this tribe first encountered it 300 years ago, and so they just live with the assumption that this is when this thing came here. But maybe it will be the reveal of the show, and perhaps even this episode titled "The Great Swirling Apparatus of Our Planet's Function," that we learn that it has been around here much, 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 much longer than that. We'll see.
Fingers crossed. We just have to have hope. Yeah.
And with that, I think we're gonna wrap up. Unless you had anything else you wanted to say, Kim. Sorry, I should have.
I'm all good. No, I'm all good in the neighborhood. We did so good. We ticked every box, crossed every T, and dotted every I. I'm very pleased.
All right. Well, I will end this episode on a quote from my second favorite character of the show, which is a little Rich saying, "I think I just broke both my femurs."
That's sweet, baby. He's so cute.
He's great. So yeah, next week, episode 4. I'm not going to say the name of it again because it's too much of a mouthful, but you all know it. You can look it up. Please keep your feedback coming. We love to hear it. You can reach out to us via email at kingslingerspod@gmail.com, over on X at kingslingerspod, on Instagram at Doof Media, Reddit /r/Doof Media, of course, Spotify. You can leave comments there as well. Geez, Kim, where can they find you? What are you doing lately besides talking to me about Welcome to Derry?
Oh, Scott, so many things. Let's see. I'm also covering Welcome to Derry on the patreon.com/dancewithkimc, which is dance with an S. You can get an individual episode, or you can wait till they're all out and get the whole series. I am made of sunshine and rainbows, so all of the episodes lean toward the positive, and then I get to unleash my inner hell beast here with Scott, which is great. So needed.
I thought we were pretty positive today, Kim.
We did great, but we did so good, but I feel like I really get to have 360 Kim C, because when I do my episodes, I'm just like, this was pretty, this was nice, I like this, and so I feel I really annoy myself. There's still good episodes, everyone, but I think I just get to have a ton of fun hearing your perspective. Coming up, I am doing a Lacey story reread, my Stephen King book club. Our theme this year was the Dark Ladies of King. So Lacey Landon is our final girl in that calendar of novels we've attacked this year. We did Jessie Burlingame and Gerald's Game, Rose McClendon, and Rose Matter. We've just went through that. We did Annie Wilkes. We did all the Dark Ladies, a lot of them. And so Lisa's our last. So I'm in the middle of my reread for book club. I'm going to hopefully do a podcast episode on that reread experience with a friend of mine. Of course, I'm blanking on his name right now as that happens. Anyway, so Lacey's story is coming up, and then I'm doing tiny little short morsel episodes of the Welcome to Derry show as well. And then, just hanging on with my cat claws to sanity because I work in education. So thank you, Scott, for helping me not pull the toaster in.
I have to ask the question that I'm sure everyone wants to know, which is, when are you going to read The Dark Tower? Kim?
Oh, this is a beautiful question. So I'm clearing out. I'm planning. This is good. This is going to happen. So after Lisi's story, which I'll be fully done with the episode and the interview and all the things by Thanksgiving. So my plan is to devote all of December to Dark Tower 7. That is the plan. I am going to do Dark Tower 7 really hard. I'm going to take notes. I'm going to listen to Kingslingers because I actually need their help a lot. I had to listen to every single Song of Susanna episode you guys did because I was so lost. And thank God you guys made them because Kim C was alone in the dark. I needed so much Kingslinger help.
Happy to help.
Yeah, it was amazing. So Dark Tower 7 will commence in December. And I hope to have all my ducks in a row after New Year's. So my hope of hopes is that the journey will be done as I start 2026.
Oh, that's excellent. We will definitely be all waiting for that episode. I think it's going to be a long one, Kim.
Oh my God. It is. And I don't know how I'm going to stop crying because I'm already I think about my own theories of where things are going. And I just know it's going to be loss and hardship and saying goodbye to friends. And I think it's been a long tower journey for me. I've taken 5 years to do it just because life, and I think it was meant to be because now I love everyone more than I ever thought I could. So I feel the pain as we speak. I'm already crying as I think about where we're going. So I'll probably text you with just cry face emojis.
And I'll know exactly where you are.
Yeah.
Each time. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. That's great. I look forward to it. I'm sure everyone else does as well. We got a lot of Dark Tower fans on this feed, so they're always ready and willing to hear new takes on the Dark Tower. So
I'm so thrilled. I'm so excited, guys, but I'm also dreading it. It's one of those where you just gotta one foot in front of the other and bear witness. But I'm very excited to conclude the journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we will definitely be following that very closely because I think this show, what we're doing here is going to take us into December.
Yep.
So you and I will be still talking at least weekly while you read that book. So yeah.
Oh, that's going to be so helpful because I'm going to need help with my scream crying. On the couch, scream crying at the injustice. So I'm really thrilled about that. I'll need your guidance.
I'll do what I can.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, yeah. And you can always find me and my fellow co-host Matt over on our other podcast called Flanagan's Wake, which right now is smack dab in the middle of Mike Flanagan's The Haunting of Bly Manor. Episode 4 is coming out this week. We record episode 5 tomorrow, which is a big one. It's a big one. And I'm very excited to talk to Matt. I haven't talked to him at all about the episode yet, and I'm pretty pumped. So we're really having a lot of fun with that. If you like what we do with this show, I think you're going to appreciate that one as well. Lots of good television to chat about and watch. I'm going to go ahead and declare that I think Bly Manor is a better show than Welcome to Derry. No offense, Mr. Muschietti, but I think Mr. Flanagan's got you. But I don't think anyone would be surprised by that. And maybe he'll change my mind by the end of it. I don't think so, but maybe.
That won't happen, Scott.
All right, we're finally done. This episode took double the runtime of the show we talked about, so that's truly the Kingslinger way. So
time flies when you're having fun.
Gonna wrap this up here. We will be back next week for episode 4. Until then, long days and pleasant nights.
And may you have twice the number.